We're in the safest place in the world.
Here?
It doesn't get safer. You've got the Sefer Torah there, 20 Sefer Torah in there. You're right in the Sefer Torah. It's probably one of the safest places in the world. You get to know it. So.
Wow.
And it also says you're doing a mitzvah, you're protected. Okay. So you're initially, normally
Be right back.
What, yours?
Oh, it's not going to do anything. I'll see how we'll start.
Aaron,
Let's see how it goes.
you want to come over here, guys?
Cozy.
We'll sit up here.
Good name. Oh, Esther. You? No way. Let's talk after. Where are you moving to?
We'll just move you a little bit forward, Devorah.
You're not sure.
Just move a bit forward.
Careful.
Can be good.
Okay. Hang on. Hi, everyone. We're waiting or we're starting? Say hi, everyone. Say hi. Say hi to Mom.
Can I just put it in?
Yeah.
You want to have a drink?
Okay, Shani, can you give me that coffee? The bottle of the container of coffee. Yeah. No, the other one, the tall one. Yes.
You pressed on my one already?
I did, yes. Okay. We're going to have some sugar and coffee here. All right, let's get this. Ooh, better. If anybody would like to donate a tripod to ITV.
There's a request if anyone wants to get us a tripod. Then for next week, that would really help.
Yeah, and a mic. That would be great.
I should introduce you a second, Gloria.
Yeah, sure.
Can I just welcome everybody? Super excited you're all here. So let's just say you're in for a 6-week treat. You've walked in kind of in one part of your journey, and please God, by the end of 6 weeks, you're going to be super strengthened. You know, I've done a lot of work on spiritual books before, and I've read up on that. I cheated, so I've learned the material you're going to learn over the next 6 weeks. Guys, it's unbelievable, and you've got to hang in there, especially from week 3, week 4, week 5. It's not informative, it's transformative. So without further ado, I'm really, really excited to be able to introduce one of, I think, the leading Jewish educators on the planet right now, and we're super excited. We have Devorah with us in Tel Aviv, and we're looking to do, please God, many, many more exciting programs. If you get a little bit inspired tonight, the cool news is at ITV, we're here to help you continue that inspiration. So I'm, please God, giving a talk tomorrow night, same time, 54 Bar Kochba, just down the road, if anybody's wants to continue that inspiration. But for now, please give it up for the wonderful Devorah Sisso, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so really I've been waiting for this series for about 2.5 months now, because, do you hear me well? I have a thing in my ear and I've never done this before. Okay, Facebook Live, we're doing a lot of Mesiras Nefesh here for you. Do you guys hear me? Just wave if you hear me. Okay, I made a big deal that this is going to be on Facebook Live. The first class is going to be open, so here we are. Okay, so the reason I've been waiting for this series to begin is because when I first came across this material, you hear me? Yes? When I first came across this material, which was about a year ago, I came across this material. I was really looking for it. I was really looking for something to relieve me of my triggers, where I found that I had all this Torah knowledge, I had all this psychological knowledge. I was teaching for many, many, many years. And when it came down to it, when my kids came home and my house was a mess and they were jumping on the couches and I didn't have any food ready for them and it's crunch time and we have to do homework and things were happening, then I would be triggered. Or when I was in the car and somebody would cut me off, it would trigger me. If my mother would say the same things that she's been saying for the past 30 years, they would trigger me, right? And these triggers made me feel like, how am I ever going to get further in life? How am I ever going to really grow? How am I really ever going to change myself, really, and have different relationships in my life? Because I realized that you're only having a relationship with yourself wherever you go, right? So you're always meeting yourself over and over again wherever you go. So how does that mean? It means that, you see, I used to go to the nursing home when I was younger. I used to go to the nursing home on Shabbat and visit the old people in the nursing home. And it was almost like the nursing home was split down the middle, figuratively. It was the people that were, they were all in the same age group, okay, 80s and up. Welcome, welcome. People that were bitter about life and about their situation in life and about their children not visiting them and about their surroundings, the room that they have, the nurses that they have, the way they feel in this place, that this person is not fun, they can't play cards with that one, they've been ostracized from that group, they have like all these politics that we were very involved in when we were in 8th grade, in these politics in the nursing home. And you have these ladies that are just like, what are you doing here again? Get out, I don't want you in my room. And then you met on the other side of the room were the sweet old ladies and men that were just wanted to share their experiences about life and about their journey. And do your kids come visit you? No, my kids are busy. They don't come so often. But I have beautiful grandchildren, and look at these pictures. And it's almost like the human condition that you saw in that room, in that dining room there in that nursing home, was so profound. It was so in your face. It was like, what did this group do right and this group not get right? What did they miss? Because they're living with themselves 24/7. The water's not enough. The shower's not, pumping hard enough. It's too hot. It's too cold. I don't like my roommate. They're constantly in this darkness with themselves. And you have these people that are, smelling the flowers and appreciating the sunlight and playing poker with their girlfriends, even though they got into a fight with them the day before or whatever. She stole her thing and she stole her thing. It's like a whole, and you get to a certain place in life, and I feel like most of us in the room here are in that place. You get to a certain place in life where you realize that I'm not really going to produce anything new that I haven't done till now if something doesn't shift. Meaning, I'm kind of getting the same stuff over and over again, even though every day is a new day, and my relationships are different, and I'm taking this course, and I'm doing that thing, and I'm on this part of the planet, and then I'm on that part of the planet, but I'm basically wherever I go with myself. So if I have a hard time in my relationships, if I have a hard time in my body, with the way I feel, if I have a hard time with my emotional state and I get triggered by different things often, whether I'm in the airport or I'm in my house, if I have a hard time and I'm constantly feeling myself in every situation that I'm in, then I have to know that really the results of my life are going to basically more or less look the same. I'm going to be attracting the same kind of person more or less in my life, the same kind of experiences, the same kind of frustrations, the same kind of dead ends. So the equation has to be that my triggers are screwing it up for me. My triggers are keeping me in a standstill. And unless I figure out what to do about these triggers and what's triggering me all the time, what's jumping up for me all the time, then I'm just going to keep having the same results. And that's basically, I found myself at a dead end where I felt like, oh my gosh, so many years of teaching, so many years of preparing, so many years of like being in this world of thought and work and all of that. And the milk spills on the floor and I'm just like, why? Or somebody doesn't look at me the right way, or whatever, someone doesn't speak to me respectfully, or I feel like I'm getting ripped off, or whatever the situation. And there's millions of situations in our day. So it comes down to, and this is what we're getting into, and this is the Hagdama, this is the introduction to our course. It comes down to getting a handle, becoming educated, learning the language of our internal world in order to set up a stage, the stage in our life, that's a stage that we enjoy being in, that we like being in. That, yes, when you set up the room, you decorate your room, your living room, you just move in somewhere, it's an apartment, and you set it up, and it takes a little bit of time, it takes like a few weeks until you get it right, and the lamp right in the right place, and the carpet, and the couch, and you set it up, and then you sit down, and you look back, and you say, yeah, I like this. This is what I like. This is what I enjoy being in. As opposed to being in an environment, imagine you set up your life, you set up your home, you set up your living room with couches that you don't like red, what's coming to me is just like red leather couches, yellow carpets, blue walls, like something really, really extreme. And you sit there, you're just like, I gotta go for a walk. I can't sit here, right? Because the environment feels almost like hostile to you. And that's what we're talking about. I'm going to give you a sneak peek for a second right now, and then we're going to get into the nitty-gritties. We're going to really dive deep into the world of our emotions, of the nefesh, and what's going on there. Because literally a person can go to hell and back having an experience on this world. Or a person can live in a state of excitement, enthusiasm, happiness, love, connection. So it really is not like, the lucky ones live a good life, and those that are less lucky, and those that are, didn't come from such a great house, didn't grow up with such role models for parents, those are the ones that are going to be damned forever. So we don't think that way. Not in Judaism anyway. What was I going to just say before? Just had something in my head before that. I really can't think what this thing in my ear. Can you imagine just hearing yourself? Stick your finger in your ear. Okay, so let's just dive right in. Okay.
Sneak peek.
Oh, a sneak peek. Thank you. Someone's listening. Star student. A sneak peek. Sneak peek is like this. Our internal processes, our internal environment either makes us want to stay or makes us want to go. Okay? Just like the example with the living room. Either it makes you want to just fall into it and just be a part of it almost because it feels so right, feels so home, feels so alive, feels so real, feels so you. Or it's an environment that you're just trying to figure out where the escape door is, just how to get out of here. And people that are living in an internal environment that's a harsh one, that's not an easy one, that's a violent one, let's just say, are people that are constantly looking to escape themselves, looking for somebody to save them. If this person loves me enough, then I won't have to feel. If that drug is strong enough, then I won't have to experience the red couch and the yellow carpet. If somebody saves me, then I'll be able to breathe, because I can't breathe in this environment. It's so harsh. So if you find yourself looking elsewhere, looking to food, looking to drugs, looking to people, looking to dive into any kind of addiction, and work can be that also, meaning being addicted to adrenaline, being addicted from coffee to meds, to sugar, to to-do lists, to running, and if I'm not in that constant state of if I'm not in that constant state of doing, then I have, like, let's say for Shabbat, for example, that's the whole idea of Shabbat. Unplug everything. Unplug yourself. Unplug. There's no distractions. How are you? Now how are you? You can't know how you are where a feeling comes up, Instagram, a feeling comes up, food, a feeling comes up, drug, a feeling comes up, texting, a feeling comes up, partying. You can't know where you're at. And what happens with all these distractions is that they create a detour to ourselves, a detour to our comfort, or a detour to how we feel inside. And then you get to the nursing home, and then you're sitting across either from a spinning image of yourself or a spinning image of yourself. It's all a spinning image of ourselves. Wherever we land up, we're always going to see ourselves. And that's what we're going to be learning in this course. We're going to be learning so much material. I'll explain to you where this course was born, how it came to be, and what it's really comprised of. It's a year-long course given by Rav Yuval Asharov up in Or Ganuz, which is next to Meron, okay, past Tzfat. He's actually here in Tel Aviv tonight in Neve Tzedek. He is a genius master of, I'm just going to start from the bottom and climb my way up, Chinese medicine, and all the way up to he's widely held up today as a Kabbalist. And so he, from all of his learning, he brought together all this material, and he teaches it. He teaches it up there, and it's a year-long course that people travel from all over the country to take. And he realized that in order for this magic, this formula, this incredible life-altering material to get out there, he has to take it down. So he took it down to 14 classes. And basically what I did was listen to these 14 classes. Each class is about 2 hours long. Listen to these classes, transcribe all the classes, okay, and translate it to English, and boiled it down to 7 classes. Now we're going to have 6 classes here. So it's really, really important that 2 things. Number 1, that you're here mentally, and human beings are distracted. I think now it's every 7 seconds. Every 7 seconds, we're distracted by something. Whether it's a shoulder pain, whether it's a thought, whether it's someone walking into the room, whether it's a thought, something distracts us. So to constantly bring yourself back. A great way to bring yourself back when you feel like you're being distracted is to move your body. Okay, move your body. Just move your neck, move your body, but stay focused because again, this material is so tremendous that there's a lot of it. So we're going to go through it, and I'm going to try to do my best to give it over in the clearest, most just very simplistic way. But you're going to walk out with a lot of techniques and a lot of tools, not from today's class. Today is we're just starting, we're just scratching the bottom, just the tip of the iceberg. And then we're going to go deeper and deeper and deeper. Okay. So with all further ado, let's begin. Breakthrough to Ein Habdolach. So, it says, כל העולם החיצוני שלך זה תוצאה מהעולם הפנימי שלך. Your entire world, your entire external reality that you're a part of, the friends, the people, the family, the job, the way you're feeling, all of that is a complete reflection. It's a 100% reflection of what's going on in your internal world. Just keep remembering the living room. Okay, just keep referring back to the living room. I know if my life is beautiful, if I have incredible interactions, if I feel like things are opening up for me, if I feel like things are smooth and smooth sailing, even if things are difficult, even if things are not working out for me, but I feel my interaction with that is good, then you got to know that's a clear indication that your internal world is healthy. Your internal world is comfortable. Your internal world makes sense for you. You're connecting to yourself. Now I want to talk about something that's called, and this the Zohar brings down, and many parts of the Torah talk about this concept of the nefesh. What is the nefesh? What is our nefesh? Say that again?
Our animal instinct.
Good. Our animal instinct. So why do you say that?
It's like intuition. It can help us and hurt us. It's something that comes to us without thinking, like fight or flight.
Fight or flight. Okay. Anyone else have anything else to add about the nefesh? What do you know when I say nefesh? What does that tell you?
Emotions, your base.
Emotions, your base. Anything else? Good. Subconscious or conscious? Subconscious. Okay. We all know this. This is very clear. Human beings are part human and part beings. Meaning the part of us that is involved in this world is this vehicle that we're in, this body that we're in. But what makes me move and feel and connect or disconnect or like or hate or all of that comes from a soul part of me. That's the soul part of me. Like we said in Breakthrough 1, you can't take a human being and cut him down the middle and start looking for his emotions. Where's her fears? Where's her aspiration? Where are her goals? Where is her love? Where is that? Where am I going to find that? I'm not going to find that in the heart, and I'm not going to find that in the spleen, and I'm not going to find it in the digestive system. So where am I finding me? Because I'm not this. This is not me. This is a way of me. This is my vehicle to express me in this world. But what makes me different than you and you different from me? That you have a different, it's called Herkev HaNeshama. According to Kabbalah, it's called Herkev HaNeshama. You have a different composition of something that it can't be seen with our physical, with our flesh, with this body. It can't be seen, but felt. 100% felt. You feel it all the time. You're always there. You're always in your soul. You're always in your soul. If you have anger, or if you feel like you're taking revenge, or if you're in love and you feel like being kind and giving and helping, all of that is coming from you. And it's not coming from our digestive system or our eyeballs or our cheekbones. It's coming from a deeper place, and that's our soul. Now, the Torah explains that the soul is made up of 5 different levels, layers, 5 different energy zones. The bottom one is called nefesh, and we're going to talk all about the nefesh. The bottom one is called nefesh. Then there's ruach. Then there's neshama. Then there's chaya. And then there's yechida. The top 3, we don't really touch. We don't go there, because it says, the Ramchal brings it down, that a person that gets nevuah, the person that gets prophecies, the person that's living on the 4th level of their soul, which is chaya. That's the 4th level of the Torah, meaning someone that is like beyond in sync and connected to what we call the matrix, to the truth behind it, to the coding, to the programming of really what's going on here. Most of us are just living and reacting. We're just living and reacting. He said something nice, so I'm going to respond. I was hurt, so I'm going to retaliate. Right? He said, I love you, so I'll say I love you. Or I'll say I love you. We live in a very responsive kind of reality. And we as human beings, because of this energy field, because of this engine that we have inside of us called our neshama, called this soul, just this collective soul, it's not enough for us. It's not enough for us. Having a lot of money, having a lot of friends, being married to a wonderful person, having children, being healthy, all of that is not going to cut it for us. It's not. So you get to the top, you get to the peak, you get there, and we all know where there is. All the things that we're trying to get to, that's what's keeping us busy all day long. So someone takes the bills off your head, and you don't have to pay for rent, or you don't have to pay for mortgage, and you have a beautiful car, the exact car that you want in your driveway, and you have the perfect relationship, and you have the great kids, and you're still thirsty. Because the human condition is one of thirst. Because we have these layers, we have this need to keep going. There's something that's calling us, pulling us more and more. So when a person is in their life, in their actual day-to-day, then they think, oh, if I just had more money, or if I just had more of this, or if I just had more of that. And when they get to it, they're like, no, I need more. Because it's not there. That's not where the need is coming from. That's not where the thirst is coming from. That's not where the hunger is coming from. But there is a hunger. There's a hunger. And these classes, we're going to break down the language of your nefesh. You're going to understand the language of your nefesh. Now, every single one of us is different. But based on the techniques and based on the material, you're going to have an inside look into your living room. Where's the lamp? Where did I put that lamp? Where's that light that shone so brightly at one point of my life that I don't know where it is now? Where is it? Why did I put it behind the door outside in the cold? Why did I do that? Why did I dim my light? What happened that I did that? In an effort to what? You're going to be able to see yourselves very, very clearly, hopefully, Bezrat Hashem, in a much more clear way. And then once you're more clear about yourself, then your entire internal environment takes a different turn. And when your entire internal environment takes a different turn, your external environment takes a different turn. And everything around you turns around, and everything around you shifts. And all of a sudden, you're not having the same conversations with the same people over and over again. And you're not having the same conversations with yourself, or the same struggles with yourself over and over again. So, these classes are going to build, and only in the end, the last class, are you going to get the golden nugget. Okay? You're going to get the golden nugget at the end, and you're not going to get it till the end, because that's how it's. Just imagine just building a Lego dinosaur. Okay? Just like over there is when it makes sense, and all of a sudden you see the whole picture. But while you're building, it doesn't really look like much. All right. So, it says like this. Adam and Chava, Adam and Eve, the first story. They start in the Garden of Eden. They're forbidden from one thing. It's really 2 trees. Okay? They're forbidden from 2 trees. They're able, now go deeply here with me. Let's get past the superficial, past what you know. If you're falling asleep, wake yourself up. Love yourself enough to wake yourself up. Adam and Chava are sitting in the Garden of Eden. They are in a total state of perfection. Everything, like I just described before, you had everything, you have no concerns, and there's no tug of war. There's no like, oh, now what? There's no like, there's no thirst. It's just complete good. They're in a state of complete good. And they're given everything. You are allowed to have everything. You're allowed to touch everything, eat everything, partake of everything, just besides for two things, meaning these two things, these two trees, take a step back from. Don't even go there. Don't even go there. Don't even touch it, let alone eat it. Don't touch it. Don't touch it, because once you start touching it, then you're going to start messing things around for yourself. You're going to start sabotaging things. Don't go there. So what happens when you tell everyone not to think of the big green giant in the room? Don't envision a big green giant in the room. That's where everyone's heads go. What happens when you tell your kids, no TV, no TV, no TV? Does the urge grow? Yes, the urge grows, right? We're going to get to that in later classes. So Chava approaches the tree, and she has this whole interaction with the snake, and all this is very, 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 very metaphoric, and there's a lot of depth behind this. We're not going to get into the depth of the story of Adam and Chava. We're going in one direction. We can literally go in thousands of different directions of understanding the psychology behind what's going on here. Oh my gosh, this is an incredible, incredible scenario of what's happening here. The stage opens, and this is the first scene on the stage of reality, of the world, after creation. And she has an interaction with a nachash, and she gets lured in, and she partakes of the tree, partakes of the fruit. And then what does she do? Misery, love, company. What happens?
Gives it to him.
Good. Sweetie?
She gives it to her now.
Right. She says, sweetie, this is for you. And he says, we're not going to eat that. Try it. Try it. Just try it. You know those people that try to make you smoke drugs? Just do yourself a favor and try it. So he tries it. And then this whole crazy thing happens where he goes running and he's hiding, and this whole interaction happens where God comes out and he says to him, Adam, Ayeka, Adam, where are you? Now God doesn't know where he is. God has pretty much of a bird's eye view on everything and everyone. God knows exactly where he is. But there's something deeper going on in this conversation of where are you? And Adam comes out, and Adam says, God, it wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault. You know what happened? Va'isha asher natata li. It's the wife, it's this woman that you gave me. She's the one that enticed me. She's the one that made me do this. And then Adam goes, and then Hashem goes to Chava. And Hashem says to Chava, what happened? And Chava says, I don't know. It wasn't me. It was the snake. The snake made me do it. He pushed me. He pushed me. He did. But she was ready. She manifested that. And then all of a sudden they become, again, I'm skipping. They become super aware of their nakedness, where before they were not aware of their nakedness. And then they get banned from the Garden of Eden. This story is so deep. We're not learning the story of Adam and Chava, maybe another time. But the story is so deep. What happened that they became aware of their nakedness? Anyone? What changed?
Shame.
Why? Where did the shame come from? 5 minutes earlier, there was no shame.
Consciousness.
Consciousness means?
That.
What? What are you saying?
That they knew.
They knew what?
What was wrong, what was right.
Okay.
Awareness.
Awareness of?
Self.
Awareness of self. Okay, good. What else?
Vulnerability.
Vulnerability? What does that mean?
They were naked.
But why? Why were they vulnerable all of a sudden? Imagine me sitting here, I'm talking to you, I'm super like confident, I know what I'm saying, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God. Like, what happened?
You couldn't see the sewing, it was so physical.
Good. Can you say that out loud for the rest of the class?
I don't remember what I said.
What's that?
I don't remember what I said.
You said, the question was, how come they became aware of their nakedness all of a sudden? What changed?
That they noticed that they were physical, that they noticed that they had a soul.
They noticed that they were physical, and they noticed that they had a soul. Good.
Before they thought that they were a soul.
Good. Before they identified themselves, I'll tell you what the before was, but before they identified themselves as them, and body was clothes. My body, my naked body, is my casing. And me is my entire internal world. That's me. So when I'm walking around this world, I don't think I'm naked. I think I'm clothed. Because who am I? I identify as me. I identify as soul. Is everything okay with this air conditioner? Is it possessed?
Should we just keep it off? I think we should just keep it off. Yeah, is someone home?
I'm hot.
You're home.
Kalach? Okay, so we can turn it off. Okay, we'll continue.
I'll just go on and off.
Yeah, like every 5 minutes.
Awesome.
But like direct to the.
It's like moving around.
Yeah, but that's like.
Oscillating.
You can also have it like.
The word.
It was up here we were using that.
We have some hungry people here. We have some cold and hungry people here. So we're going to keep going. So we're going to keep going. All right. So their casing was their body. That's how they identified, right? Today we were very into this, like, how do you identify? How do you identify? I am male. I am female. But then how many other things are there? 60-something genres of things that you can identify with, right? And now this new law came out in LA, right? I heard this on Shabbos. This new law came out in LA that there's no gender on the birth certificate. And the child gets to decide what they are, what they identify as. Okay, so the idea of identifying with self, why has it broken down so much that we're hearing that and we're just like, all of you had this like, this crazy, like, how can you identify? How can you be you either male or female? Like, what else can you be? What other creature can you be living in your body? You can feel different feelings, but you are. Right? But the reason that things have broken down so much and the situation has become as it is because people are not in touch with self. So they is self. So the second I think that casing is myself, so all of my emotion and all of my attention and all of me gets totally invested into self. And what is self? What is self? Casing self. Body self. Body self. The body self gets all of the attention. And the more attention I give it, then I expect, otherwise I wouldn't do it because I'm not an idiot, I expect a better feeling. So the more money I get, the more I can acquire, and the more I acquire, the more I feel like I am, like I have. So this person, feels good, feels alive. And then what happens when you're there and you don't feel that? So you buy more and you still don't feel it, and you add more stimulus and more stimulus and more stimulus, and you just can't get, it doesn't reach, it never peaks. It never peaks. Not like the first time anyway. Because the reason that there's such a breakdown in all this identification stuff is because it can't be anything past this here. So it has to be out there. So give me more options, because it can't just be man, female. It can't just be two. I need more options. I need more ways to experience myself. I need more ways to explain myself, to feel alive in myself. So give me more something to chew on, because otherwise I don't know what I am. Adam and Chava had a different experience. Their experience was my body is my casing and myself is my soul. And I live for my soul. I see for my soul. I eat for my soul. I engage for my soul. I interact for my soul. For me. That's who I am. That's the living room inside. That's the me. With my goals and aspirations and my chesronot, which are my shortcomings, and my positive attributes, and all of this thing, this whole being, that's me. So why do they feel naked after they transgress that transgression? Why do you think? There's no right or wrong answer. I mean, there is, but why do you think? Based on the information that you have thus far, why do you think? What happened?
They saw a reflection of themselves.
No. They did see a reflection of themselves, but that only elicited that panic of I'm naked because something happened. Something happened in their psyche. Something happened. All right. I'm so happy that no one knows the answer. Clean slate. What's that?
They could be flawed. They're not the perfect image of God that they thought they were.
Good. Warm. warm.
What did she say?
Want to say it again?
But they realize that they are flawed and they're not perfect image of God like the mother.
Okay. Well, you want to say something? Yeah, okay. The nefesh is the engine of yourself, of your being. When you learn the language of your nefesh, now, what is the language of your nefesh? Feel it right now. You could feel it right now. The language of your nefesh is what's coming up for you. You know those kids. You see it very often with kids. Kids, you see their nefesh, you see it like very, very clearly. It's like in your face. You really, really see what's going on with them emotionally. We've learned to block. We've learned to put up shutters, and we are blocked from ourselves. We have no idea how we feel. We have no idea what we feel, what we want. A lot of times we don't know. We don't know. Someone says something, it's like, okay. Someone says something else, okay. I don't say, 1 second, let me check. What do you want? That's something that you have to learn. That's something that we have to learn. With kids that are always jumpy. Kids are always jumpy. So it's easy to put a tag on them and say, okay, he's ADD, right? He's ADHD. But really, what is going on in the nefesh? The nefesh is unsettled. There's something unsettled in the nefesh that keeps bubbling and bubbling and bubbling and bubbling, so he needs more distractions. So he needs to go there, he needs to an iPhone, and he needs to watch TV, and he needs to go out with his friends, and he needs to smoke, and he needs to, because there's something inside that's not settled. That's the nefesh. Adam and Chava had this reality where all of a sudden they were settled, and all of a sudden they were unsettled. They were so unsettled that when they saw themselves, when they felt their nakedness, they were panic-stricken. They were terrified. And they quickly had felt so much shame, and they covered themselves up. What made them unsettled, what made the reality unsettling for them was their interaction with God. What does that mean? What does it mean to take responsibility for something? Admitting that you were wrong? Okay. What else does it mean to take responsibility for something? You all take responsibility for a lot of things. What does it mean?
Reward and punishment.
What's that? Reward and punishment? How's that?
You're accountable, that you know if you do something wrong, ultimately you might be punished in the world to come.
Okay. But taking responsibility can also means to pay my bills. Right? Take responsibility for my bills. Take responsibility to pick up my kids. Take responsibility to eat dinner. I'm responsible for things. I do them. Okay. Responsibility is literally responsibility. Responsibility is the ability to have the correct response. That's responsibility. What happened with them is that it didn't matter what they did. When Hashem came up to Adam and said to him, Ayeka, where are you? He wasn't asking him, where are you? He was asking him, what happened? What happened to you? And all Adam needed to do in that moment, all he should have done, that's what all the Mefarshim say, that's all commentators right there, all he should have done was just say, I screwed up, I'm so sorry. I did something I shouldn't have done. But instead, what does he do? He has this whole game, that he has this whole manipulation thing that he does, which is, Hashem, you messed up. Because instead of giving me like a normal chick, okay, you give me this like half-baked chick. She's a sinner. She's a sinner, you know? And it's not like you gave me this woman. So he wasn't only not saying, I'm so sorry, I take full responsibility for what I did wrong and what I did was wrong. What he did was, she was wrong, and you kind of screwed up also. That's what he did. Yeah, that's what he did. And so he hid. And then when he went to her, what did she do? She did the same thing. She said, it wasn't me. It was the snake. She didn't say it was the snake that you gave me. She said it was the snake. So she didn't blame God. And then they all of a sudden fell from a level of clarity and connection to self, to nefesh, to who they are, to their mission. It says that they had so much light. They had light emanating from them. Now, light is not the physical light that we're talking about. It's a light of just, you know, those people that you meet that are just like smart and good and kind and loving. People that you want to be around all the time. People that bring out the best in you. So imagine that times bazillions. That's how much they were self, connected to self, really self. When we get connected to ourselves, God willing, and it's a work of a lifetime. And that's what we're here to do, and that's why you're sitting in this room, and that's what motivated you to come into this room, whether you realize it or not. Because we all have an internal engine that says, get closer to you, get more familiar with you, get to know you. And when we're in a situation when we don't like the way we feel, then we might push people away, and then we might run after them, and we don't know why we're running after them when we don't really like ourselves around them, but there's something there that's broken that keeps connecting us to people that are not good for us. And we don't know what's wrong with us. Why? Because our internal wiring, our engine, is talking to us. So we end up in the same scenarios with the same kind of people, with the same abusive spouses, God forbid, or bosses, or parents, or a relationship in whatever way, and we keep falling into the same situation over and over again because of our internal wiring, because of something inside of us is off. So what happened to them is that they went off. And when they went off, all of a sudden they started identifying themselves as this. And when you start identifying yourself as this and not this, and when you start identifying yourself with cars and with money and with how big your house is and how skinny you are, and if you're in a relationship or not in a relationship, when you start identifying yourself with the stuff in your life and not with who you are, then what happens is that you're breaking yourself. You're breaking yourself. And no matter how much anyone gives you and loves you and feeds you and buys you, it will never fill it. It will never fill it because the breakage is happening in an internal place. And the only reason why you're constantly stuck in a situation that you're unhappy with is because of that breakage. It's because of that miscommunication with yourself. It's because of that falling out. It's because of that pinching off of yourself that you're experiencing. So you're pinching yourself off so you don't have any oxygen. Imagine if, God forbid, you would stop delivering oxygen to your pinky and your right foot. What would that look like? What would that pinky look like after a bit of time? What would it look like? Black. It would die. It would eventually fall off. Because as long as a person pinches themselves off of their life, of what gives them life, of who they are, then nothing will fill it. Not a date, and not a message, and not a job, and not a trip, and not a vacation. It's all temporary. It's all fleeting. And then you end up back with self. So what happens with Adam and Chava, and this is where we're going to end with Adam and Chava, what happens with Adam and Chava is that they were only supposed to say, all they were supposed to do is say, God, we realize our mistake. I messed up here. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Don't get her in trouble. It wasn't her. It wasn't her. And it wasn't him. It wasn't the snake either. I did it. I am sorry. That's all they had to do. If they would have done that, they would have never created that breakage. They would have never moved into a space of identifying with body. And once I identify with body, again, I learn the language of the body, what makes the body happy, then I'm an eved. I'm a slave to sugar and food and people and attention and loving notes. I'm a slave to another person's reactions or actions. I'm a slave to money. I'm a slave to my Instagram. I'm a slave to my pictures. I'm a slave to my whole image. I'm a slave. And no matter how much I fill it up, it will never, ever, ever, ever fill. Because I'm identifying with body and I'm not identifying with self. And the more I identify with body and feed body and I give attention to body, because body is all the things that we think are going to make us happy that are external to us, the more agitated and aggravated we'll get. And that's why people that have made it big and have climbed the rungs in Hollywood and have made it to the top really, really quickly, or not even really, really quickly. They got to the top and all of a sudden they can go to any party and everyone loves them. Wherever they go, people are kissing up to them and they have the nicest house and they have the nicest car and that's their life. That's why these people end up going, most of them, majority of them, end up going off the deep end. Off the deep end. I was watching an interview with Ellen and Demi Moore. And Demi Moore wrote this book. I don't know what it's called, but she wrote this book. And basically she's describing the book. And Ellen, who's a funny person, couldn't even laugh with her because it was such a tragic book. Her life was so tragic. Her life and her life experiences. And she was saying exactly. She was like, I was addicted to him. I was addicted to how he made me feel. And if he would have a bad day, then I would be in ruins. And if he would have a good day, then I would feel like I have wings. And my life and my whole internal, what she was saying, in other words, my internal atmosphere, my internal environment was completely dependent on externalities. So now what we're learning here in this course is something called Ein Habdolach. Now put your thinking caps on, because this is going to be a little technical, but it's worthwhile. Do you mind giving this out? Here, you know what? I'll give you all of them. Here. I'm just going to keep one. It's all right. Thanks. I don't know if there's enough. Hi guys. Acknowledgement is a strength. There is, I guess share. I also have to make a note here that if you're going to take this course seriously, which I'm assuming you are, I recommend going back and listening to the classes, reading the notes, because between every week it's just going to be like, wow, very inspiring, and the second we walk out the door, down the block, and make a right and walk into our favorite sushi restaurant, it's kind of like, yeah, it was really good, it was good, and then next Tuesday, it's going to be like, what were we saying again? Yeah, something about like the nefesh, something. You want to really get this under your belt. You're going to get this material under your belt. You're going to open up a world of understanding for yourself. It's going to be like, oh, wow, like that. Okay? So you learn it over again a few times, maybe before the class, maybe in the middle of the week. Maybe teach it to somebody. If you teach it to somebody, then you'll for sure know it. Okay? All right. Okay. The Torah explains like this. The Torah explains that we're talking about the man. Anyone know what the man is? What was it?
Something that fell from the sky.
Good.
In the desert.
Exactly. It's the food that the Jewish people got in the desert. Now, everything we're talking about is spiritual. Okay? Everything we're talking about, they were in a different level. I'm saying spiritual level. They were encountering something else. Now, don't read these notes. Don't look down. Look right here. They were on a different spiritual level. They were engaging, interacting, vibrating in a whole different reality. When it says that the man would come down from Shemaim, it means that their experience to food, their relationship to food, was a whole different kind of experience than it is for us right today. They had a whole different experience. It was a connection to God, because food, if you do food right, if you do body right, you can be so spiritual. You can connect so much, so hard. You can really, really get a lot of clarity in your life. You can see you have a vision that you've never had before. If you know how to interact with food and how to really have a relationship that's healthy with food. And we're going to get into that also. We're going to talk a little bit about, in next class, we're going to talk about Chinese medicine. We're going to talk about a lot of how our food and our nefesh is very much intertwined. And how body image and all of that, why people are sick these days and have so much pain and have fibromyalgia or have IBS, have all these things that the doctors don't really know what you have. It's a nice label to say, we don't know what's wrong with you. We don't know what's wrong with you. Right? IBS is another way of saying, somewhere in your digestive tract, something's screwed up and we don't know what to tell you because we can't see it, because your blood tests are fine and your MRIs are fine and everything is okay. But there's real pain. It's really there, and people are really, really taking real medications for it. But there's nothing there. I was diagnosed with the IBS when I was 14, and I had it till about I was 22. And I remember just going in the ambulances, constantly going in an ambulance to the emergency room. What's that? Irritable bowel syndrome.
Crazy stomach pain.
Yeah, like something that was just like I couldn't breathe, and ambulance to the hospital and MRIs and rushing me to MRIs, screaming like I'm having a baby, and everything came out clear, every single time. Until I got the news that I have IBS, and then when I Googled it, I was like, oh, so you're basically telling me that there's something wrong with my stomach, but you don't know what it is. I could have told you that. Later, when I started doing the work, when I started really, really looking inside, when I started healing my nefesh, it subsided, it went away, thank God. And I haven't had it since, it's been about 9 years since my last bout, thank God.
So how did you get rid of it?
We'll talk. I'm not going to give you all the information in one night. We're almost finished here. Hang tight. Not really almost. Soon, halfway through. The man that came down from Shemaim, the experience that they had with this food was like this. It says that the man had no. I'll read you the pasuk. Okay, I think you have it in your notes. You do. I think it's on the second page. It says that the man, v'haman kezera gad lavan ve'eino ka'ein habdolach, which means it says in Sefer Bamidbar. Okay, Perek Yud Aleph, the 11th chapter, the 7th pasuk says over there. It says v'haman kezera gad lavan ve'eino ka'ein habdolach. That now it's describing, the Torah is describing to us what the man looks like. The man is white, it has like a white look. It's not white, kezera gad lavan, has a white feel to it, okay? Eino ke'en Habdolach. Now Rashi explains what's Eino ke'en Habdolach. He says Ein Habdolach is a precious rock. He says Shem shel even tova. It's a precious rock. Then he says Rashi, ve'omer kristala. He says it's a crystal. He uses the Lashon Loazi, he uses the English term kristala. What's a crystal? A crystal is a rock that it itself doesn't have a color, it's clear. It itself doesn't have a flavor. It itself has really nothing to it, but if you hold it up to the light, it encompasses the whole spectrum of colors. That's a crystal. The reality, the experience that they had with the man was an experience like this. Every person, I'm just going to read it to you from the pasuk, it says, Kol echad achal oto man, every single person consumed, ingested the same. Now hang tight with me, okay? Put your thinking caps on, I told you. Every person ingested the same man, but v'kol echad ta'am acher lefi teva ha'adam. But every person had a different experience with it. You tasted salty, I tasted sweet, she tasted bitter. Every single person had a different experience with the man. Whatever the person was when he ate the man, that's the experience that he had. If he was in a bad mood, the man tasted one way. If he was in a happy mood, the man tasted a different way. If he was just himself, the man tasted a whole other way. If he was focused and really, really focused on what he wanted it to taste like, that's what it would taste like. Meaning the man was only a reflection of the person. The experience was only a reflection of where he was. And he says like this. It says, Davar shehu bli ta'am shekalal et kol ha'ta'amim. It's something that had no flavor, but it encompassed all the flavors. And it's something that had no color, but it encompassed all the colors. And from here, we're going to move in. This is where we're moving into our work, and this is where we're starting to understand what is Ein Habdolach. Our entire life is Ein Habdolach. Our entire life is crystal eye, which means the reality that you're experiencing, that you're living in, tastes, experiences, feels, interacts based on you, where you are. That's the reality that you're experiencing. That is what you're tasting. That is what you're seeing. That is what you're interacting with. That's what's coming in front of you. That's the bills that you're getting. That's the experiences that you have. That is what you're feeling. Your experience with reality, your interaction with reality is only based on you, where you are in your nefesh, where you are in that living room, what that living room feels like. That's where you are. It's only a reaction, a reflection, and a projection of where you are. That's what you're tasting. That's what you're eating all day. That's what you're eating all day. So the fighting with this one, and then feeling misjudged by that one, and not loved by this one, and not seen by that one, or feeling like on top of the world, and really just loving people, and connecting with people, and happy, and introspective, and in developmental mode, that is all one big projection of what's happening inside, internally. And the message of Ein Habdolach, and this is where we're heading into deeply right now, the message of Ein Habdolach is to understand. And the Baal ShemTov says this very, very nicely and very, very clearly. And here you can read it on the second page, in the middle of the page. קטע מתוך מאמר ד' כתבי הבשת, he says like this, אמר הרב הקדוש בעל שם טוב, the Baal ShemTov הקדוש says, שאין במציאות שיהיה אדם, there's no way in reality that a person can be, שהאדם רואה לאחד עובר עבירה, that a person can see somebody else transgressing, something else that's outside of themselves that's negative. There's no way that a person can see that, אלא אם כן יש בו שמץ מינהו מאותו עבירה או דוגמתה. He can't see it if he doesn't own it. You don't interact with it, it doesn't come into your space if you don't own it. If you don't have a piece of that inside. Now, when I was learning this work, I got to this part, and I immediately, I think I even have it here. Yes, I have it here. I immediately, I'll show you. Second. I just saw it. See? Are you not supposed to see something? You don't see it. Okay. Here, I see it. Okay. I immediately made a list of all the things that I don't like in people in my life. Look at this list. What I see in each person that I'm close to, that I have a hard time with, that I butt heads with, okay, that I'm just like, okay, that person has issues. Okay, that person is so cheap. Okay, that person is like so greedy. Okay, that person is so... All the things that come up for us, okay, I immediately made a list of all those things. And then I sat back and I got really depressed. And I said, so if this is true, if everything I'm seeing is just a reflection of Devorah, anyone want to come drinking with me? Basically, how do I escape this? Oh my gosh, Imale, this is not okay. As we progress, you'll understand that that's not the direction. It's not the direction. I should take it. I should take that and rip it. I just haven't done that yet, because that's not the direction. The important part is to recognize, like Adam, yes, this is me. This is me. The eating, the getting enticed, the having that whole interaction with her, it's me. It's me. I messed up. Yes, I'm so sorry. I messed up. It wasn't anyone else in my life. It's not my sister, and it's not my mother, and it's not my childhood, and it's not that person that doesn't understand me, and it's not this person that's stepping on my toes, or that whatever. I don't even want to say what he is, because I don't want to go there, okay? Because they are so wrong. Because God, you put these people in my life, and all these people are broken. They're all broken. So it's not me. It's not me. It's my children and my financial situation and my parents who are like out to lunch. Bye-bye. Out. It's not my fault, Hashem, that my life is the way it is. And my choices are the way they are. And then I'm attracted to the people that I'm attracted to. It's not my fault. You set this up. You gave this to me. Responsibility is the ability to have the correct response. Whatever is on your plate, you gotta know one of two things. Number one, it wouldn't be there, you wouldn't see it, you wouldn't interact with it, it wouldn't be alive in your life and kicking if it wasn't something that you have inside of your nefesh that is making you very uncomfortable sitting in that living room. You meet discomforts in your life, you butt heads with people in your life, you attract wrong relationships into your life, because there's something in that living room, maybe it's even your other foot, that just keeps making you uncomfortable, uneasy. What is disease? Good. Disease is dis-ease. This disease manifests in the body only, and this we know from Chinese medicine, but if we go back to our text, to our ancient text, Torah, we'll see it from 3,300 years ago. It's clearly written, Chinese medicine is only a few hundred years old, clearly written that the body always follows the soul. The body always follows the language of the soul. If you are in pain, if your shoulder hurts, your back hurts, you're lethargic, you're tired, you're not breathing well, you have headaches all the time, migraines, you are paranoid, you're scared, that's the experience that you're living in. You have to know that body always follows soul. There's a rule of thumb in the Torah, and the rule of thumb in Kabbalah, in the world of spirit, in the world of spirituality is, and since we are spiritual beings having a physical reality, having a physical experience in this world, we have to know this. We have to know the language of our soul. You know you're lactose intolerant. You know that when you eat something, it doesn't sit well with you, so you avoid that, hopefully, because it doesn't do you good. You don't like the way you feel with that. When you don't know the language of your soul, you're literally running in circles in this world like a chicken without a head, and you don't know what's wrong, and everyone's at fault. And everyone's wronging you, and then you end up being 90 and sitting there and saying, why am I in this nursing home? The water doesn't work. And the electricity is off, and the people that work here are a bunch of losers. Because the language of the soul is everything to us. It's all that matters. It's all that matters. It's everything. It's what we manifest. It's what we see. It's what we reflect. It's what we encounter. It's all of it. That's the language of the soul. The ability to have a right response, to have the correct response means I am in a situation in my life and I have to know one of two things. Number one, I have this in me. And number two, I have to have the correct response. And the correct response can never be to blame. Ever. Because blaming, all that does, it sets you up for failure. That's all it does. It sets up your entire organism, your systems inside for sadness, depression, emptiness, isolation. It sets you up to just feel like the world has wronged you and you are the victim here. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the man is. The man is nothing. The man is just a reflection of self. The stuff in your life is a reflection of where you are. Now, in this course, in the next 5 classes, God willing, we are going to go deep, 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 deep into the building blocks of why do I get angry? And why am I fine 1 minute, sitting in my car, listening to the radio, I'm okay, and all of a sudden I start crying. What's wrong with me? Why am I okay 1 minute, and the next minute I cannot look at anyone, I cannot talk to anyone, I want to lock myself up in my room, in my house, and I don't want anyone to come over? Why can I not get out of bed? Why do I one day walk down the street and everyone is just so beautiful? I just want to say hi, I just want to help, I just want to give charity, I just want to just connect. Wow, everyone is so great. Life is so beautiful. And it's not only when I'm in love. It's also when I'm not in love. I can have those kind of experiences. Why? So we're going to go right now. I just want to say one major idea to leave you off with. We said a few very big ideas, and I repeated things on purpose because I'm not going to come back to this. Because the rule of thumb that we got here in this class right now is that everything external is a reflection of internal. Internal is all the emotional stuff that we have going on inside of ourselves. Now, anyone have a pen, maybe, perhaps? Thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Here, watch this. Here's, Rabbi, can we add on to the charity thing that we need a board, whiteboard, black markers? Some red ones also? Okay, great. So here is, just so to give us an understanding, here is our selves, the self inside, okay? The real self, not the casing, okay? This self is split up into what we said before, 5 different energy zones, okay? The bottom one that we're here, that we're at all times, is called the nefesh. The nefesh. The nefesh has its own makeup. The nefesh is split into 3 parts. The bottom one is called, the top one is called sechel. I'm going to translate in a minute. The middle one is called regesh. And the bottom one is, we're just going to, for just to explain it, because when you try to get into the Zohar and explain from the Zohar terms, it's a lot harder. This is just a really great way of explaining it. It's called the chi. Okay? You have it in your notes, I think. So you have, the nefesh is, this is the place we're at all times. This is the engine. Okay? This is what makes you get up out of bed. This is what makes you hungry. This is what makes you want to fall in love. This is what makes you want to make money. This is what makes you want to give. This is what makes you want to cheat. This is what makes you want to steal. This is what makes you want to get angry. This is all of it. This is where it's all at. Now, the more you refine this, the more you refine it, the more you get the living room set up nicely and cozy and sweet and beautiful and just like you like it, you climb energy zones. You climb into the next zone. All of a sudden, life is beautiful. All of a sudden, you want to help and connect and love and give and relate, and you're just like out there doing amazing things with your life, changing the world, using your 120, God willing, years on this planet to really make a dent, to make a huge difference on this planet. But in the people in your family, everyone, you walk into a room, people love you. You bring out the best in people. How does it happen? It happens because you climb up rungs within, and it's all inside of us. It's all inside of us. The only thing that keeps us from feeling like our higher selves and keeps pulling us down to our lower selves, the one that's under the covers and that's crying and that has no idea what's wrong with them, That one, the reason that we keep pulling ourselves down to that place is because we keep pinching ourselves off from our higher selves. And the only way we do that, the only way that happens is when we have a blame game with our life. Is when other people are responsible for the way I feel and for what's happening or not happening in my life. From why I am responding this way, why I am acting this way, why I am interacting this way, why things are the way they are for me. They are the way they are for me because of this and this and this and this. When I'm living from that place, what I put up is curtains and curtains and curtains and curtains separating me from myself, and then I have no idea why I keep getting attracted to the abusive guy or the narcissistic girl, or I am in a situation where I just, no matter what I do and how hard I work, I can't make ends meet, and my mother doesn't get me, and my sister is just crazy, and it's her fault that I am so damaged. As long as I am in a place of not taking responsibility and realizing that taking responsibility is not a negative thing. Taking responsibility is just the ability to have the correct response. As long as I'm in that place, I am pinching myself off from my higher self. And when I am not connected to my higher self, we all know what that feels like. We bark at people. We want to be alone. We don't like people. We don't want to help anyone. We don't want to give. We don't want to contribute. We have a very, very hard time. And we also are self-destructive. Now I am allowed, because that happened to me and he did that to me and this happened to me, I am allowed to now go and do and say and eat and be and hurt whatever and whoever I want. Because I'm allowed to now, because I was hurt. And that's the cycle, that's the loop. So the nefesh is made up. This nefesh is all I care about right now. It's all I want to know about in my life right now. Give me the answers. Now, I want to know about this nefesh, because if I'm able to make seder, if I'm able to organize my house, then wow, what an experience. Aside from having all this, just this connection, this niceness, and this living from my higher self. And every single one of us has tasted what that feels like to live from their higher selves. Confident, happy, giving, loving, connected, easygoing, flowing. We all know what that feels like. We've all tasted that. So if I'm able to do that, then if I'm able to know what my nefesh is, I am able to climb and climb and climb, and it's endless. And it's so beautiful. And the journey is so magical. This life is magical. All you got to do is vacuum, put the lamp back in its place, clean it up, maybe throw out those couches. And that's what we're learning here. That's what we're going to be learning here over the next 5 classes. The nefesh is made up of sechel, regesh, chi. Sechel is our mind. Regesh is our emotions. And chi is our life force. It's literally the electricity that's in your body. It's the electricity that's in your body. It's your life force. That's your chi. So what makes you move, sneeze, rub your eye, that's what it is. That's the chi. It's the electricity that's flowing through your body that allows you to have a life in this world. The regesh is the one step up is your emotions. Your emotions come before your regesh. Now if you look at page 3, at top, it says, Gavoah ma'al gavoah shomer. Now remember this. Memorize. Gavoah ma'al gavoah shomer means, in spiritual terms, higher energy fields always rule lower energy fields. Always. Meaning, in our nefesh, just in this part of our soul, the way it works is that this and this and this, one rules the next. The sechel, the mind, rules the emotions rule the body. So, if I have enough information in my mind to know how to choose, how to live, how to react, how to eat, how to interact, if I have the know-how, okay, then what that does is it takes my nefesh, it takes my regesh, it takes these emotions that are here, the ones that have outbursts, and the ones that are crying, and the ones that are sad, and the ones that are happy, and all those emotions, which is what makes my life, and what sets up the scene of my life to be the way it looks. So this totally 100% affects this. When the When the mind is not set straight, when the mind doesn't know, when Adam is standing in front of God and saying, it's you and it's her, his mind didn't know. His mind didn't know because he was already past the sin. He already fell in his clarity. When his mind's not clear, then his emotions really feel strongly about that. I really feel strongly about that. I feel really, really strongly about the fact that you screwed me over, God. And how often do we think that way in our life? I feel really, really strongly about that. You know what? In fact, I'm not even going to eat kosher right now or care about anything that I cared about last week. Because last week I was in this like stupid high, but now I'm just like back to reality. Because this week was awful. It was actually like a hellish week. And if God wanted me to be close to him, then he would have given me a good week. זה משם, זה בא נראה לי משם. זה בא משם. זה לא הטלפון. זה הגירוי. זה הגירוי. ראית את התגובה שלך עכשיו? Yofi, Yofi. This is a really good example. We're going to bring this up next class. Amazing example. How many of you heard the phone? Raise your hand. A majority. How many of you did it bother? Did it bother? Okay. How many of you did it bother very much? How many of you felt an urge to attack whoever's phone it was? Okay, good. So, no, Bakhshani ran away. Good. What happened right now, thank you. What happened right now is a perfect example. There's an outside stimulus. Some of us didn't even see it, didn't even hear it. Some of us heard it, didn't bother us. Some of us heard it, it bothered us, but whatever, we're used to it. Some of us heard it, bothered us, and it's been 10 minutes. Whose phone is it? Okay? The reaction will always be, okay, our reaction to life will always be from our nefesh zone. Our nefesh zone, if it's having, and I'm not saying yours is, everyone has their own stimulus. Everyone has their own trigger, okay? The trigger will always be as much as the discomfort in the nefesh. The more a person is not comfortable with themselves, then you go, boo. They're like, whoa, why are you doing that? Why are you scaring me like that? Right? And a person's okay, a person's like fine, right? So you go, boo. And you're like, boo-hoo. Right? So you're not, why? Because it's not objective, it's subjective. The man was subjective. Reality is subjective. Now, the ladder goes, sechel, regesh, chi. Chi is the body. If the body is in pain, and the body is not feeling well, and the body is uncomfortable, and the body is experiencing a form of dis-ease, then don't talk to the body. Don't put a shot in the body, and don't go to the body. Talk to who's responsible for the body. Who's responsible for the body? Gavoa, me'al, gavoa, shomer. Who is responsible for the body? Who's responsible for the body? The regesh. The regesh. Good. The regesh in the sechel, but the regesh. The emotions, the emotional turmoil. The emotions that are going on in the person are what is, and it's all, it could be subconscious. You know how you could be like living your life, you're fine. All of a sudden someone says something about your childhood, or someone says something about your dad, or someone just kind of like picks your wound for a second. All of a sudden you get like, you have this like reaction, right? Why? Because the regesh is not settled, even though we don't have to feel it all the time. You don't have to always feel your emotions. Most of the time we're not. We're on autopilot. But if the emotions are not sorted out, then the body's going to get a whipping. And when you go to, let's say, acupuncture or shiatsu, or you go to any of these therapies, and you say, my neck is stiff, what do they do? Acupuncture, what does an acupuncturist do? They work on your chi. Why? Because you have a pain, your neck is stiff. Will they put the needle here? No, they'll put the needle here. right? Because the pain here doesn't mean that here is the pain. What is pain? According to Kabbalah, pain is stuck energy. According to Chinese medicine as well. Pain is stuck energy. When the chi gets stuck, which is the life force in our body, gets stuck, why does it get stuck? It gets stuck because of disorganized emotions. It gets stuck because of our triggers. It gets stuck because of stuff that's sitting in us for years. And it's just sitting there. Imagine getting to the airport and having your baggage with you. And how good does it feel when you get to drop off your 5 suitcases because you're moving to Israel with 2 kids? Just saying. How good does it feel when you drop it off and you walk away with your backpack? It feels amazing. You can walk to the terminal, you're free. You're not walking around, you're not lugging around suitcases. When our nefesh is imbalanced, then it's walking around with suitcases of stuff. And and the triggers around us don't even have to be so bad. They don't even have to be so crazy. Spilled milk on the floor is not the end of the world. But the reaction is going to be so intense because you don't care about the fact that I work hard and I bring home money and I buy milk and I go to the store and this is what you do and this is how you act. You spill the milk on the floor. It has nothing to do with the spilling of the milk on the floor. Has to do with the fact that your nefesh is so not balanced, your nefesh is so in so much disharmony that any trigger elicits a reaction of different kind of reaction. And some people are very, very, very reactive. And some people are very, very, very unsettled. The body's pain, the language, the pain in the body is just stuck energy. Stuck energy means pain equals stuck energy. Stuck energy means the emotions are out of whack, and therefore you have a headache and a migraine and a stomach ache and your leg hurts out of the blue and you feel like crying and you don't know what's wrong with you and you're sick and you get the flu and you have all these things coming up for you because I don't know what's wrong. So I go to the doctor and he gives me antibiotics or he gives me something to make it go away, to disguise it, to cover it up. You don't have to feel that anymore, sweetheart. Here, let me give you a Band-Aid. Let me give you a Band-Aid. What is Acamol? What is Advil? What is Tylenol? What are all these things? It's a way of detaching you from the pain. Is the pain still there? Is the pain still happening? Is the head still throbbing? Is the reason for the pain taken care of? No. The reason for the pain did not go away. But the reason that you take the Advil is so I don't have to feel the pain. I don't have to connect to the pain. So the same thing of taking the Advil is going out partying, is throwing myself into work, is depending on someone else to fulfill my needs in every single way. That's the same Advil. That's the same Tylenol. Let me not feel the pain. Feeling the pain, knowing that you have pain in your body is just a really great way of being shown from above that your internal environment is so abusive. It's so harmful. It's so sad. It's so painful. And then, ow, my shoulder hurts. Ow, my back. Ow. The energy in our body, the life force in our body, is completely an offspring of our emotions. And our emotions, and this is where we're going to end, our emotions are all a direct reaction to our minds. To our minds. That's why these classes are medicine. They're balm for our souls. Getting more information in your head to chew on, to understand yourself will make a difference between a life of connection and love and giving and a life of everything is difficult and everyone is awful and I hate Tel Aviv. And Israel is a third world country. And there's no money here. And no one's serious about relationships. And there are no guys. And there are no girls. Or there are too many girls. Or I identify as a 36th thing on the identification chart. Because I don't know what I am. So, we're going to end off. And leave off and understand one final thing. That this class will help us get our nefesh regular. And when your nefesh is regular, your bowel movements are regular. Okay? And when that happens, everything becomes much more doable. You can have a lot on your plate. You can have a lot piled on. Your mom, your dad, their health, your finances, your question mark about your relationships, but you can handle it. You can handle it. You're calm. You have a nice, calm internal environment, and you can handle the blows of life. And not every single tiny thing throws you off your game like there's no tomorrow. Not every single thing that someone says to you, your dad says to you, or your mom says to you, or someone in your life says to you, that makes you want to go downstairs to the bar and just say, who cares? I don't care. Bye. Checking out. So we're going to have an amazing journey together. I'm really looking forward. Thank you for trusting me with yourselves. And if anyone has any questions, I'm here. I'm here on WhatsApp, and I'm here. And if you have any questions, if you want to work something out, something, it's important that you do that. This is a gift you're giving yourself. Go eat!
A couple of things, everybody. First of all, huge thank you to Devorah. And Rick, thank you so much. You come all the way from Jerusalem. It takes time to prepare, so really you're a busy lady. So thank you so much for investing in television. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Number two, we're not going to be putting it normally on Facebook Live, so if you want to come, you've got to come live. You've got to be here, so I hope you can. If any of you can't come, and you signed up for the course, we will be able to send you the recording of it. Make sure you're here. Keep the next 5 Tuesday nights as free as possible. If anybody hasn't yet paid for tonight, Rachel's over there. You get to pay Rachel, that would be amazing. And finally, if anybody's interested, tomorrow night, 9:15, I'm giving a talk about essentially love and kindness, taking the ideas of Abraham from this week's parsha and talking about, is there such thing as a selfless act? I think they discuss it in Friends, right? So we're going to discuss it from Kabbalah, right? Is there such thing as a selfless act? How good are you? How good can you be? And it's really powerful. It's really powerful. So it's going to be 9:15 and 54 Bar Kochba. If anybody likes sushi, come to sushi beforehand at 8:30. We call it Sushi and Spirituality every Wednesday night. And one last thing, if anybody of you hasn't yet got somewhere to eat Friday night, we're actually going to be eating here this Friday night. You can sign up online. You're all totally invited. So thank you so much. Thank you, Devorah. If anybody wants to join the Breakthrough WhatsApp group, please speak to me afterwards. We'll add you to the Breakthrough WhatsApp group. Devorah, thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
We're not going to be here because we're going back to Los Angeles. How can we get here the rest of the...
How can you get? So you can, I guess, Rabbi, you want to, thank you. Thank you so much.
Really
Thank you. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much.
Starts with emotions and the subconscious. Way more powerful.
Okay, tomorrow I'm going to bring 90 shekel. I only have my credit card, but I can bet you money.
Bring it into sync through hypnosis. Bring those two things in.
Wow.
So, what you're saying to bring it in, because the emotions, which no matter what you think, cognitively,
Right.
your emotions will, if they're out of sync, it's the emotions that are going to control.
It's the emotions that are in control.
Control way more than your mind, so better get the mind in sync with the emotion, which is through hypnosis. But
Yes.
I'm hearing it.
It's a little different here. Is that the more food you have in your mind, the more you're able to actually grab. It's almost like grabbing the wild horse. Let me grab him, because the mind, when you have the right ideas in your head, then you're able to control your emotions. You're able to say, no, why am I looking at it that way? Why am I blaming other people for my life situations?
Speak to us really
Yeah, and also like she's in the WhatsApp.
Okay, my website is devorahspeaks.com, and we can connect there.
H at the end?
Yeah, with an H at the end. How'd you guys get here tonight?
We were walking down the street on our way to
Look
dinner.
at how cute this couple is. Oh my gosh, say hi. You were walking down the street.
And we saw this shul, and we thought, well, let's find out, because we're here for Shabbos. Maybe it's a shul that we could come to on Shabbat.
Yeah.
And I hear he has an English accent. So of course I say to him, "Where are you from?" And he's from London, and of course my whole family's from London. So I say, "Oh, do you know so and so?" And he goes, "I married them. I was their Misagrin Kedushin."
Wow.
And I was at the wedding, so I saw Rabbi Hill.
Wow.
So it's so cool, because I immediately wrote to my cousin.
This just happened outside?
Yeah, just a second ago.
Went to the restaurant. The service was very poor. And we got up and we came back to here.
And we came back to the shul.
That was a
Oh,
trigger
you
for
left
me.
and came back?
Yeah. We said we're not going to eat.
The restaurant triggered me.
You didn't leave. You didn't leave when I was speaking.
No.
Before.
You said we have a great lecture. It's mind blowing.
And so we said, let's forget eating. We're going to come to the
I
shore.
love you guys.
We went to eat. We went to eat. The service
Oh, we're
was
so
bad.
happy we did.
It triggered me.
Oh, there it did. It
Triggered
triggered you. Why did it trigger you? We could turn it off, I guess.
I have to change it. Service is very important. My whole career is based on service. Very sensitive to giving service.
לא, לפעמים ספייס בדרך כלל עושה טוב למערכת יחסים. כן.
Say hi, guys.
Ah, nice. It's a lot.
Okay, you hear that, guys? We're gonna tune in live next week as well.